All right, so we continue with this video. I'm going to redraw that triangle right down over here, and so we know that this is 53.1 degrees, but we're going to pretend we don't know it yet. And so we know that this is 10, those are the original givens, and that's a 6. Okay, and so now my thing is to find this angle there. Now I already know that angle has to be 90 minus 53.1, but I am still going to go ahead and do that to see what works out. It should be 36.9. Okay, so I kind of know this, but I'm still going to go ahead and use my trig to figure that out. So that's the angle I'm looking for. Theta is the question mark. My opposite now is 6, because that's the angle I'm talking about. This guy's no longer the opposite, like it was in the first case when we were looking at that, and this was the adjacent. Now this guy's the opposite, so that's what I mean. So you gotta always look at what is the angle. So this is the angle, the opposite is 6, and the adjacent, the hypotenuse is 10. That's your right angle. Remember, the hypotenuse is always opposite to the right angle that you have in your triangle. Okay. By the way, there's a whole bunch of cool trig for triangles that are not right angle triangles, and those are additional abilities we can get later. Okay. So, what would I be using here? Opposite, hypotenuse, theta. I hope you said sine of theta. So sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. Continuing, sine of theta equals 6 over 10. So to find this, and you see the same ratio that we had before, but again, that's not always going to be the case. Only the problem is set up this way. And so now to get rid of this sine guy, I'm going to take the sine inverse of u and the sine inverse of u. And we're going to see what happens. And so that and that go away. And I look at this and I say, all right, so theta must equal to the sine inverse of 6 over 10. Bring out my handy dandy calculator. And I'll show you the keys again so maybe you can see all of it. Perhaps not. Okay. So I'll go second function, sine inverse, there it is, and then 6 divided by 10. And that's 36.86, which is pretty close to 36.9, which is what we expect it to be. And so we will round that to this theta. Well, I shouldn't have called it theta, I'll call it theta. Theta the second is is 36.9 degrees. So right up here, we can come back here and say, well, that is 36.9 degrees. All right. We have that missing side. You want to find that next? Let's do it. Okay, so for that, we just use the Pythagorean theorem because we don't have any angles. We don't use the trig functions. And so to find that, they could simply use 10 squared minus 6 squared is equal to 64, and take the square root of 64, which we know is 8. So this side would equal to 8. This is what we call a 3, 4, 5 triangle as a ratio of 3 to 4 to 5. And, they always turn out to be nice round numbers. Okay, so hopefully that helped, and see you again in a later video.